We are talking to Shishir Hattangadi, captain of the Bombay team. He played between 1981 and 1990.
Mumbai was the action point of Indian cricket. I really believe the best way to learn is to make your own mistakes. Our priority was to play cricket, going to the nets, bat for 4 hours, 2 hours, whatever. Bowlers would bowl for 3 hours. There was no injury management. And that is where I feel the highest paid coaches and the best coaches should be at the beginning. You can tap talent, but you need opportunity. Don't only go by numbers. Your selector's job is also to spot talent.
A part of the first IPL for Deccan Chargers.
Even the infrastructure, the ecosystem of Hyderabad cricket hasn't encouraged local talent. When I was asked to take it up seriously, I realized I cannot make a career of it, profession of it, and I cannot play this sport till I die.
Namaskar. Welcome to my channel, Vijay Mohan Raj Point of View. Today, as always, I have got a guest who's extraordinary. And why is he extraordinary? Because cricket is now the flavor of the month. We've just come back from a victory that every Indian cherishes. And now I have a cricketer who's had the distinction of playing for Bombay, a captain of the Bombay team. He played between 1981 and 1992 and has the ability to lead, not only lead, to motivate people. Apart from his cricket, he's a commentator. He's a person who has given his opinion on various aspects. In addition to that, he has the experience of being the head of cricket for 2 IPL teams, that is Deccan Chargers and Mumbai Indians. I'm sure all of you, after listening to him, will receive a lot of knowledge and information on what's happening. More so, this gentleman is a person who has the ability to speak without any fear. And that's why I have him on my channel today. Welcome, Shishir.
Thank you.
His name is Shishir Hattangadi. And I welcome you. And I'm very happy to have you here. You've come all the way from a different city to be with me today. And before we start, I'm going to straight away go on the attack and ask you about Mumbai cricket. Because Mumbai has been champion 42 times. And there are not many people who know why they became champions 42 times. And the reason why I would like you to tell everybody, our cricket fans, they take it for granted that a team wins because of the players. I would like you to tell them that it's the system creating or building a team that is very important.
So Vijay, thank you so much for having me on your program, and it's a pleasure and a privilege to actually be here, because not only that we share a similar school that we went to, and of course reconnecting with old schoolmates, senior schoolmates, if I may call you one.
St. Mary's Boys.
St. Mary's Boys, and it's always been a pleasure to meet old into inverted commas schoolmates. But your question, I think, is something that you would probably have answers to, because you yourself were a Mumbai cricketer, a Bombay cricketer in those days, and we came up from a very different ecosystem. The ecosystem was primarily about the history of the game, trying to emulate seniors, going to the grind, as we all did in Mumbai. It's a city that doesn't allow you to rest. It allows you to only keep pushing yourself. The comfort zone becomes a cricket ground because of the lifestyles we lead. We live in flats, we live in small apartments, travel by train, and then get on to our comfort zone, and that is playing cricket. And whether it is the Maidans with no side screens, whether it is people crossing pitches during a cricket match, and the game gets stalled. It's all about adaptability to an environment. And I think most players who play club cricket in Mumbai are aspiring for the next level. And some are lucky, like us. Some aren't lucky, but that doesn't take away from the fact that most cricketers put in as much effort. And the culture of Mumbai has always been, nothing better, nothing less than a win in the Ranji Trophy.
True, very true.
You could reach the finals, there will be no celebration. If you win the finals, it's another day at the office. It's not something that, you shout about. But I think that's a culture that came from our seniors. That's a culture we saw very easily when we were playing with the big boys. And that's a culture that was being passed on to the next generation. Having said that, I must say that, the times you played and I played, other teams had a complex towards Bombay. They felt that Bombay was unbeatable, invincible. Today, times have changed. Other teams have evolved. They've got facilities, infrastructure to play, and they believe they can compete with the best. So, I think we are talking about another era where Mumbai was, by and large, if I may call it the epicenter, if I may call it the action point of Indian cricket. That has changed, but we are very privileged, actually, my generation and the generation before that, to have watched and imbibed from seniors, whether it's the culture, whether it's the history of the game, whether it is work ethic, and more importantly, the fact that we all wanted Mumbai to win, and
Sure.
nobody felt in any way that anything less than a win is acceptable. And that, I think, is the secret to Mumbai's success.
So, Shishir, while you have given your perspective of why Bombay is there, I would like you to touch upon the subject of, nowadays you have so many support staff, you have coaches, you have the paraphernalia, and people are, without that, they're very uncomfortable. But when I played, or you, I'm sure when you played, you didn't have more than one person. Either he would be a manager of the team, or he would be a administrator who probably did not know anything about cricket. So how would you like to explain that? But one side, you had to learn yourself, you had to plan yourself, you had to build the strategies for the match yourself. And here you're so dependent on somebody from inside telling you what to do.
Yes, I think there are pluses in both and the negatives in both. The pluses in our time were that we had to figure out answers for ourselves. Yes, you got a bit of guidance from seniors, you got a bit of guidance from your college coaches and all that, but at the end of the day, you knew that you have to find answers to the questions posed, whether it's the bowler posing questions to you or a batsman posing question to a bowler, by combating what he's putting across. So you learned. It was learning through trial and error. Today, I think before the learning process starts, you're taught what to do and what works for you and what shouldn't work for you. And that, I think, can confuse a young player. Yeah. I also believe that I may be a little old-fashioned and traditional in that sense, because I really believe the best way to learn is to make your own mistakes. And when you do that, you're sure about what you're doing. If somebody tells you you're making a mistake, you're not going to absorb it so easily. It's not going to process in your mind. And then what happens after that is you go by somebody else's diktat, which makes it all the more difficult. I mean, frankly, I remember we had one massier. His name was Mac Adeker. Now, Mac Adeker was only there to enjoy his retired life, and he was a very lovely man. But if a youngster went to him for a massage, he would tell you, go and get some runs first. Then I'll give you a massage. And the senior went, he'd be rubbing powder on him. It would actually be tickling him. It wasn't even a proper massage. But we grew up in times where, these things were not priorities. Our priority was to play cricket, go into the nets, bat for 4 hours, 2 hours, whatever. Bowlers would bowl for 3 hours. There was no injury management, workload, as they call it now. It was just about playing the game and playing it over 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, and doing your best. So I haven't been in an era where, in a dressing room where, coaches, video analysts, I think it's very important, but I think it's more important at the under 19 level, where you're trying to form your game, trying to compose yourself as a cricketer, know you're able to do a SWOT analysis of your own skills, whether it's your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats. If you can coordinate all that at the under 19 level, and that is where I feel the highest paid coaches and the best coaches should be at the junior level.
Okay.
Because that is where I think your game is formulated.
So I'd like to tell my viewers, see, we are talking to Shishir Hattangadi, captain of the Mumbai team. And Mumbai is champion 42 times. So we are talking about an era which is an era where a winning team captain is saying this to you, that we learned ourselves. In today's situation, if you don't have a proper coach, or you don't have the facility of a trainer and a physio and probably a masseur in the team along with the support staff, players are uncomfortable. So what I would like to get across to you, that self-learning is the best learning. I mean, I'm sure cricket is, according to me, a way of life as well. And in our day-to-day life also, without realizing, we are using crutches. We don't want to think. We don't want to learn ourselves. We're depending on others to learn. So Shishir, this is the perspective that I wanted to get across to the people who are viewing this channel, this today's program.
So,
Yeah.
Vijay, just to interrupt you a little bit, it's about what's comfortable and what's a necessity and what's a priority in two different eras. I mean, we talked about my era, your era, we talked about the earlier eras. All these things weren't a priority. Priority was to play the game. And there was no technology. I know technology is very important, and I don't want to be a critic of technology, but you see, any young player there was no DRS also, that's also technology. We played in an era where, the parameters for playing were different. Today, the parameters work on DRS and, technology and how to play, given the technology is in place. These things are important because the game has evolved, it's changed, and we need to change with times. But it's also important to actually create or keep that creativity towards it's an art after all. Cricket is an art for me. And the moment you start tampering with your art too much, I think there's a thin line between indulgence and tampering. If you can keep that line very, very dignified, then you are able to tap on the creativity of a young cricketer. A Bumrah, for example. I mean, if he was changed, maybe he won't have been the Bumrah.
True.
Take, for example, Azharuddin. The way he played, the copybook coach or the MCC style of coaching wouldn't have allowed him to
Very
play
true.
that.
Very true.
So it's important also for coaches to keep that creativity, and at the same time make sure that you can get maximum out of the skill that a player has.
Yeah.
And that to me is the most important part. Again, I'm sounding a little critical, but I think a lot of coaches today try and work on a templated basis. That this is these are the do's, these are the don'ts. Beyond that, you shouldn't be doing anything. It takes away the creativity from the game. I mean, I'd like to see flair. I'd like to see creativity. I'd like to see a natural style. It's like music, each one has his own style of singing.
Sure.
Don't change it, and everybody can't be a Rafi or a Asha Bhosle or a Bhimsen Joshi. You create your own style.
So I'll take this discussion to the level of the Indian team as well. When we were playing, we were seeing the Indian team play in the 70s and even before that, 60s. And then now when the Indian team is playing. At that time, the Indian test team was looking for draws, was looking to just save the match. We were probably we were the weakest team in international cricket. And then there's been a change. And today, anything short of being number one is looked down upon. So what do you think, actually, the transition from those 60s right up till now, the 2025, what is happening actually?
What is happening is the game is spread in India. In our time or in times before, Mumbai seemed the epicenter of cricket.
Yeah.
It was where the action was. People came from all across India to come and play in Mumbai to get relevance, to get recognition. And great players came to play in the Time Shield and so on and so forth. It's a long story. But they came there to get recognized. And most of the players who played for India were because the decision makers of Indian cricket sat on the lawns of CCI or whatever. And, they said this one is talented, that. Now the game is spread. So you could be playing in Ranchi, you could be playing, in Andhra, you could be playing in Guwahati and still get that recognition. And that to BCCI's credit, actually, they've spread the game across the country. So the talent pool is huge. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done at the BCCI level, I'm sure. But in spite of the system, you are churning out quality players. And we don't know how many are missing out through the filter of recognition yet. Because there may be so many Virat Kohlis and, Bumrahs lurking with no visibility, no opportunity, and of course, no recognition.
So I'll just interrupt you here. In spite of the system.
In spite, absolutely.
So I would like you to elaborate on that.
Look, as the game grows bigger and larger, and the canvas spreads across the ecosystem of Indian cricket, you will find that more youngsters, because of the aspirations they have, the money, the respect that you get as a cricketer, and of course the earnings, you become motivated to play the game for two reasons. One is the fame, name, the money, and of course the fact that it is given a lot of respectability in terms of being a profession now. So a lot of youngsters are trying to make the grade, and a lot of them may miss out because they're not at the right place at the right time, and that happens. I mean, look at any industry, and you see when there's a supply, a flow of supply, it becomes difficult to actually pick players who may miss out because they're just not at the right place at the right time. So the pool of players is huge. The domestic cricket, Hazare Trophy, CK Naidu, Ranji Trophy, then your IPL, then your whatever leagues that are going around. And you will find that every state has enough players. Nobody is going to, we take the test, we were absolutely mourning the departure or non-selection or the non-availability of Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma before the England tour. And as cruel as this game can be, nobody talks about them even today. It's a matter of
public memory is short.
Yeah, they forget. But if we had failed as a batting unit, then we'd be missing people, and that's what happens in sport and in death. You miss people only after you do badly.
Yeah.
And today, not many people are talking about them. That doesn't mean that they were not good players or great players. It's just a question of when you fill into somebody's shoes and you do well. People, the public, and generally the romantics of the game forget the people who had contributed.
So this system we are talking about, you think there's something that can be done in order to ensure that players with talent, players with ability are not left out?
I think opportunity. The key word for me, the word actually is opportunity. You can tap talent, but you need opportunity wherever you are in the country.
So how do we provide opportunity?
So I think, it's a common thing that if you want to pick players and you want to make sure that any talent doesn't go unnoticed, you've got to spread your web a little wider. It's not got to be restricted only to state associations that can be, in a sense, there could be biases. And where there's money, there is power. Where there's a lot of visibility, these things become part of day-to-day life. Bias, nepotism, it happens. I spare a thought for the guys who don't get noticed, because the guys who get noticed obviously will get noticed. But there may be a few thousands in each state who get unnoticed because of the system that we are in. And I'm not saying that, I'm not complaining or cribbing about the system. The system has done a lot to unearth talent. But the system needs to do a lot more to unearth talent that goes unnoticed. And we don't think about them. It's time we start thinking about them. Using technology now to sit in your house, open an app, wherever, and see any unknown talent that emerges from nowhere, and then see if you can actually nurture him into being a player.
So the processes that have been designed now, in the system is that a person comes and plays for the state at different levels, 16, 19, 23, and then the Ranji Trophy. These are
tried and tested.
These are the existing systems now, which again depends on the local associations. We have 32 associations who are participating in various tournaments in the country. Are you suggesting that the opportunity that we are talking about happens at those areas, those associations, those 32 associations we're talking about? Are you suggesting that is what has to be reformed?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think it's more about, all these things that are happening for the good of Indian cricket are not happening by design. They're happening by default.
Yeah.
We need to shift the focus to design.
Okay.
And the design has to be more templated. And I speak on behalf of every association because I've gone around seeing some unknown talent, emerge and nobody even looks at them.
Yeah, that's right.
And to be fair, this whole term that we use as bias or in selection processes can be simplified a little more. Don't only go by numbers. Don't only go by numbers. Your selector's job is also to spot talent that you can see play at the next level without looking at numbers. I'll give you a small incident. When I was captain of Mumbai under 22, we had a fair bunch of big names as selectors, and there was Tamane, Sardesai, big names. And I was the captain of the under 22 team, and Sanjay Manjrekar was an emerging player. He was about 19, so he had 3 years to go in the under 22 section in that group before he went on to play, if he did, at the Ranji. And Dilip Sardesai came to me and he said that Sanjay Manjrekar must play all games. I said, sir, he has another 3 years to go. He said, no, but if he does well, he will play the next level straight away. We played him, and he didn't do too well, but he was there at number 6, bowling a bit of leg spin batting, but he didn't have the power. 6 months later, he played the Mumbai University tournament, I think the Rohington Barrier, and he got 700s on the trot. And he was pitchforked into the Bombay team. And from there, it was history. So, selection is also about vision.
Yeah.
Not about numbers.
True.
I mean, you can use numbers as a reference point if you want to compare two players. But the success of selector really comes from picking unknown people.
Great point. Great
Without
point,
numbers.
Shishir. This is something which is a common issue everywhere. Even I have seen it in different associations. The same thing has been happening.
Yeah.
So, BCCI has become what it is today because of how they generated funds, money, right? So, how did this happen from the past and now in the present?
Mainly television broadcasting. Only television broadcasting. Nothing else. Don't make any mistake if you think that, you hit some rocket science. No. It was television that brought in the money. Domestic cricket was never covered. I mean, domestic cricket today also has no viewership in terms of, television. But what happened post 83, post television rights brought in the money, and then it actually magnified into the IPL where, the broadcasting rights brought in money. So every association today is flushed with funds every year. Maybe 120 crores, I'm not sure. Can't count that far, but it's a lot of money. So there is a comfort level. If you as a youngster in your days went to somebody's house for dinner and you told them, they'd ask you, what do you do? And you said, you play cricket. You say, yeah, okay, you play cricket, but what else do you do?
True.
Today, if you go and tell somebody, I'm aspiring to play the IPL, you're going to be treated with a lot of reverence. Why? Because money brings in a lot of respectability to a profession.
True.
I mean, in our time, the aspirations were be a doctor, be an engineer, be a chartered accountant, because that's where respect was. Today, cricket has brought you respect. Why?
True.
Not because the game has changed. Game is the same. It's still about 75 yards. It's still about 70 yards to the boundary, 22 yards. Yes, there is a bit of innovation. You've got colored clothing, this, that, but at the end of the day, the money has come in. So if you play a good season of Ranji Trophy, you take home 40 lakhs. I don't think we earned 40 lakhs ever in our career.
Never.
So it's brought in respect. It's brought in respectability. It's brought in aspirations. And more importantly, it's brought in parents who are saying, okay, this could be an option. I don't think a lot of conservative parents in our time wanted children to play cricket.
Not at all.
Because it didn't give you a career. It didn't give you a shelf life. And I heard a very great quote the other day on a podcast by my friend Makarand Deshpande, the actor. He said he was a very talented wicketkeeper. I know he was. He used to keep well. But he said, when I was asked to take it up seriously, I realized I cannot make a career of it, a profession of it. And I cannot play this sport till I die. So I took up acting. And I called him up and I said, Mac, this is a very, very in-depth comment you made
True.
on a profession. because we have a shelf life, and maybe 30, 35, maybe 38 if you're fit. But the money that has come in because of broadcasting rights, because of the popularity of the game, has helped every cricketer. I mean, they can think about a career, but then that's a limited. I keep saying it's a limited pool of players that benefit from it. If they can spread the pool to more cricketers, youngsters, then again it will aspire the youngsters to play because they're getting some remuneration, and more importantly, your pool will automatically, organically increase, and that will help the game anyway.
So in 2008, in the first IPL, I'm coming to IPL now.
Oh,
Because of the fact that you were a part of the first IPL for Deccan Chargers,
Yes.
and then you followed up with Mumbai Indians, and I can recollect that when the first IPL formulated, they made an attempt to start IPL, and they didn't know whether it will succeed or not succeed.
Correct.
And it was meant to promote city players.
Yes.
It was a city-based teams in which they were allowed some overseas players, they allowed some players from outside. But basically, there was a pool made from, say, 2-3 associations nearby, and you had to have players from there. But it all changed. It all changed.
It all
And
changed.
I would like you to comment on that.
See, I think besides the commercial side of it, and when Lalit started the IPL, I don't think he got a great response. And this is my personal opinion. I mean, Lalit, if you're watching, tell us if I'm right or wrong. There wasn't a very proactive response from many people whether it will be successful in terms of franchising,
True.
in terms of ROI, in terms of sustenance, etc., etc. But the angle given to the IPL was, it would be a means to an end. The means was IPL, the end was playing for India. That popularity actually stopped it being an end in itself. IPL became an end in itself. Why? Because of the money, because of conserving yourself to play the IPL and not playing anything else. Because the
But
possibility...
that happened much later.
Much later. But you see, the whole point was you wanted to promote local talent to be able to create a local fan base.
True.
Like
And also sell merchandise.
So, well, merchandise in India, it would have taken 100
Yeah,
years.
but that was
one of the revenue models.
they actually copied the Manchester
the
United,
the EPL module, but that would have taken time, because for names to become household names in cricket, and especially local players, it takes more time. We had this catchment area, if you remember.
Yes,
in the
yes.
first year. All that, the plans were right, but I think somewhere the owners took over as shareholders or custodians of IPL cricket. And every owner wants to win, because it not only elevates their team, their own profile. Nobody thinks about Indian cricket. Let's be honest about it. No IPL franchisee thinks about Indian cricket. They think about their franchisee, which is fair, because they invested money. They're paying top dollar to every player. If a talented India player goes to a franchise and says that, I might not be able to play this year if I play the India series, every chance that the franchise will say, take a rest for India series, because you'll be getting much more money here. So this patriotism that we talk about is a little cliched, that IPL is about Indian cricket, it's about national cricket. No, it's a type of cricket in itself, where the custodians of the game are franchisee owners. They want their players to be fit for those 45 days during the IPL, and they'll do anything for that, which I can understand is a part of their thought
I think it's
process.
2 months now.
Yeah?
Now it has become
2 months, because teams have increased, but they want them to be at their peak performance during those 2 months. I don't think they'd be too many people will be bothered about Indian cricket, because that doesn't figure in their workspace, in terms of what they want to achieve through the IPL. Coming to the point, the catchment area and local talent took a backseat.
True.
And what happened was, it was about buying players through the auction that strengthened your team, that created a structure to make sure that each team became a top priority. The local players took a backseat. Suddenly, from being protagonists, they became side artists.
For example, Hyderabad didn't have one single player in the Sunrisers team, which was Hyderabad team.
Yeah, but Hyderabad itself is
Yeah.
in such a confused state that you
Yeah.
can't blame the IPL
Yeah,
franchise.
but that's been for last 2-3 years.
Yeah, but I mean, we're reading about it, we're observing as cricket romantics, and especially for me, the Bombay, a person from Bombay, we always admired Hyderabad as a team. Forget the IPL team. I mean, we worked for IPL for the franchise, but even the infrastructure, the ecosystem of Hyderabad cricket hasn't encouraged local talent to be observed,
True.
To be picked, to get noticed, and that in
itself is one of the failures of money coming in.
So, what IPL was when it was envisaged, when it started, and what IPL is today? Do you see anything different happening?
Uh,
Apart from
it's become a much more structured tournament. For the simple reason, I think owners have become smarter over the years. They know exactly, and their advisors actually help them pick horses for courses. They
Yeah.
also been able to understand that conditions make a lot of difference. I mean, be it a Shah Rukh Khan who may not have played cricket at the highest level, but he still, or Nita Ambani, or Akash Ambani, or Sanjeev Goenka, they have understood the ecosystem of IPL cricket to be able to take decisions on what works and what doesn't work. Yes, they'll go wrong because sport is never going to guarantee you results, because it's 2 and 2 and 4 don't, and 2 and 2 don't make 4 in sport. But at least there's a method to the madness, and that method has come through trial and error again. It's not happened overnight where they've understood. They've had good people to advise them, but they've also realized that there is a strategy behind IPL. So the focus of promoting young talent and all is completely out.
okay.
It's out. Don't even think that anybody with talent is going to get an opportunity. It's about deliverables. It's pretty much the corporate culture.
So when you say, I mean, I have observed the auctions. I never understood, to be honest, even till today. How do you decide which player to pick in an auction? You can.
It's about fill in the blanks.
Yeah,
it's
can
about
you-
understanding.
Can you make the viewers
So
understand?
I'll just simplify it,
Yeah.
gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. It's a simple thing. I've got 15 places or 20 places. I've got to fill in those blanks with names, but I've also got to look at numbers, because I'm operating on a budget, on a bank as they call it, and within that bank I keep 2, 3 options, 4 options, that if not A at this price, B at this price, and then it comes down. It's like walking into a supermarket.
Okay.
Okay, I'll simplify it. You walk into a supermarket.
You have a list.
You have a list. Your wife has given you a lovely long list of things to buy. And then you say, okay, I pick this, I pick this, I pick this. And suddenly at the end, when you finished your round of the supermarket, you say, oh, this is there and I have a lot of money for it. Now that product may not, I'm using, it's not fair to use the word product, but I'm saying that player is a product. You say that a thing that costs 2 rupees, I've got 30 rupees left. But I need to finish that money before I walk out of this store. So I pick that 2 rupees product for 30 rupees. And then people like us sit and chuckle and say, my God, is he worth it? Nothing is worth it, because it's a one ball game. It's a one inning game. And you never, the price you pay for somebody is never commensurate to the amount you pay. It's all perception. It's about brand value.
But the name that they pick comes out by lottery.
Yeah, by lots.
So I mean, it could just be unfortunate that
Yeah.
you missed out on the name that you actually wanted.
Yeah, then you have, that is why I say you have to have 2, 3 options.
Yeah.
It's like saying, if I want to buy wheat, there's A brand, B brand, C brand, all 3 great, 4. So I say, first chance I'll go for A, second I'll go for B, third I'll go for C. So if I don't get A, I'll focus on B. If I don't get B, I'll focus on C. So I have to be adaptable in my choices. I can't say that I'm just going to go for a Rolex watch. No, you might have to settle for a HMT. But you have to have that on your wish list.
Okay.
Because there is a chance you won't get a Rolex watch.
Yeah.
Settle for something else. And this is what the IPL is about. It's a little complex in the way people perceive the thinking of owners, but they think very deeply. They have mock sessions. They have, sessions where they say, okay, if this happens, what do we do? If this happens, what do we do?
Yeah.
But having said all that, does it guarantee?
So that is why sometimes you come across a situation where a very ordinary player is getting a huge prize.
Yeah, I mean, we call them
Yeah.
ordinary because
Yeah.
we feel he's not
Fine.
worth it.
Yeah.
But somewhere the owner has the money. And he has the
Somebody
product.
with credentials gets a very less prize.
Happens.
Yeah.
It happens. And you
Yeah.
cannot actually equate it. I mean, when you look at players who have contributed to Indian cricket. I mean, classic case Cheteshwar Pujara, who's just retired. Nobody even pursues him in the IPL.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I'm sure he's better than a lot of players. He knows how to score runs. If he knows how to score runs at the highest level in Test cricket, I'm sure he knows how to score runs. But he's never perceived as one who can, bat 120 balls at 180 of a strike rate. So no one pursues him. But nobody's even tried him that much to say that, we can go for him. So
True.
it's all a lot has to do with perception. It also has a lot to do with your brand as a marketable product. A lot of players are picked because sponsors also want them in the mix. So if I'm paying X amount for a player, I know I have a ROI on the sponsorship. So there has to be a balance between
Okay.
marketability of a product
Super.
as much as what he can bring in.
Yeah. So now I'm coming to your subject, your pet subject, marketing.
Yeah.
Okay. You have done a lot of work on marketing products, advertising, doing with corporates.
Yes.
I would like you to speak something about how you used your cricketing knowledge, your leadership in cricket, and you adapted it to your marketing and advertising.
So
You've done-
it's not humility that I say that I consider myself a failed cricketer.
Okay.
So that is my selling point, selling tool to brands.
Okay.
Because everybody talks about how successful he is, and I think it's become cliched. I talk about my learnings from failures, and I think failures, and I can speak for myself, not for others, that failures can teach you a lot more than success. So I look at myself as somebody who's probably not achieved what I wanted to, but I've learned a lot from what I've failed, and to me that is also a great selling point to when you're trying to package something for a client, whether it's a strategy, it's a brand message, because in leadership they say everybody prepares you for success. They all say X, Y, Z, ye karo, wo karo, and this is your success formula. But how many people tell you what happens when you fail? Because someday you're going to fail.
Yeah, sure.
So how do you prepare somebody for failure? How do you prepare somebody who's prepared as well? You work 8 hours a day for 1 month and you get run out on the first ball.
Yeah.
The scoreboard shows 0. Have you prepared yourself to face that failure? I didn't as a player. That is why maybe I didn't achieve a lot, or as much as I aspired to do. I don't come out of it because I didn't introspect that this is going to be
So
a possibility.
you think your experience with the game failing in some parts of your cricket has helped you to succeed in what you're doing today?
I don't know about the word succeed.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
the
it's
word
very
success
abstract.
is very relevant.
It's
Okay, fine.
It's very abstract and
Fine,
it's very
but we
irrelevant.
think that you
relative.
Yeah.
But the point is, it helps you to be a little balanced, to see your cup half full rather than half empty.
So I can tell the viewers, failure is a stepping stone to success. Yeah.
I don't know about success as a term, but what it helps you is helps you stay balanced.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's a chance that you might flip the lid.
Okay.
You'll be sitting in a bar every night saying, what if. So I'd rather say, oh my God, so much. I deserved a little less, but I got more.
Yeah.
So it's important to also look at that as a leadership. I'm not saying just not a term like guidance or a caution to everybody that you're going to fail. And as much as you prepare for success, prepare for failure too. Because it's going to come. If not today. I mean, look at Tendulkar. I mean, leave Bradman out of the equation. 99.4, he doesn't figure in human beings. But look at Tendulkar. Average of what? 50 plus. Failure rate is 40 plus. But we say legend. But how he handled that 40 plus failure is also...
I think Federer made the same statement.
Yeah, he made that how many matches did I lose? I saw
how many points I lost.
Yeah.
I have...
and the great guys are able to cope with it.
Yeah.
Lesser mortals like us cannot cope with it. And that is a reality that I like to tell youngsters. I always tell them, if you can face your failures and get out of it fast, the chances are you will come out faster.
True. Very true. So can you give us some instances where you used your leadership experiences in your corporate field?
Yeah, I did talk. I did a lot of... I do a lot of corporate talks, and I've spoken to a lot of young managers. I also tell them that in our cricketing system, we talk about being at the right place, right time, the falana, all these things are important. Similarly for you, when you have your appraisal, you might just meet your boss who's had a bad day with his wife, and he may not be in the best mood, and that's something that is not in your control. I could be well prepared for a big cricket game, but that day, that fast bowler is coming at me. He's mean. He's had a fight at home, and he's putting those extra yards. So you got to be prepared to handle that rejection. He might just come around and tell you that, look, you're useless. You're not going to get any raise today, this year, because his external systems and his external world has troubled him. So it's not about, the fault may not always be with you. It may be about the other person going through something that you can't see. And it's very important for us to be a little analytical about these issues, because it's like a good movie, a good movie made very well may not be just accepted by the public because it's not in sync with their thought process as of today.
Yeah, the same movie after, say, 5-10 years would become...
Talk about Sholay, it didn't run for a week. They were trying to change the end then.
Yeah.
But they said, we'll wait till Monday or something, and on Friday it took off in the end of first week, and it just became, an iconic movie. So things can change, and we've got to believe that they can change while we are doing something.
Okay. So we've spoken about the cricketing part, your marketing, leadership part. What are your interests?
My interests? I
want you to talk about your interests.
I play sport that is non-competitive. I had enough of competition.
Okay.
So I like to cycle, I like to swim, I can't walk because now I'm a bit crippled, age has caught up, so all that is okay. I like to tell stories, I like to hear stories about cricket, of course, and it brings a smile on people's faces or my faces, that's good enough. We've had great memories about dressing rooms, about colleagues.
Can you tell us some stories about your, some stories?
This is a family show, I just can't do it.
No, you can tell us some stories about how you motivated people in the dressing room.
No, actually...
Okay, let's make it simple.
Yeah.
Some fun.
No, but we did you probably were part of that, I think Sandeep Patel and Sunil Gavaskar started this Saturday club or Sunday club where we were asked to wear different types of outfits and come. So I remember one of my colleagues was asked to dress like a bikini clad cabaret dancer in a place like, somewhere in Gujarat, on the outskirts of Gujarat, not even in the main cities. And I went out shopping with him, and he kept asking for lingerie at these stores. And the guy kept saying, what's the size? He said, "Mereko pata nahi, but mereko pehna hai." And I was like, what are these guys? They must be thinking we have just flipped the lid, And he said that I have to buy this. So we went into these shops, on the streets, like a fashion street. And he kept looking for lingerie. And he said, "Kiske liye lena hai?" He said, "Mere liye lena hai." And these are memories that even today when we meet, we talk about, because I think it just keeps the child in us alive, if I may.
I think Sunday Club was a fascinating experience.
Oh yeah.
Because
I think more than that, Vijay, more than the matches and the runs scored and the wickets taken.
Got the team together.
We remember these things more. I've actually forgotten the cricket I played, but what comes very sharp in my mind when I meet my old colleagues or people like you is the laughs, the fun, the dressing room banter. I think the game, like life, is made up of these things rather than actually performance-oriented issues. Those go into the record books or in the score sheets. But what is not documented is the fun times you've had.
What's your message? Before we close this...
I just think, Vijay...
No, I need to give a message to the people who are listening, because...
Well, just keep it simple. Don't trouble yourself too much. You'll have your highs. I mean, I'm just speaking from cricket. You'll have your hundreds, you'll have your ducks. Just learn to accept that the ducks are a part of the journey. Enjoy the journey and hope the destination comes. But if it doesn't come, it's not the end of the world, There is the journey that has to be savored more than the destination. I know I'm speaking like a Sadguru and, one of those, but that's not important. Important thing is keep it simple. It's a simple life, keep it simple.
So you've got a message today, and a message of different kinds. Okay, so here is a person who's played cricket, who's played sport, who's got learned a lot from the sport. He's very humble to say he's not successful, but we know that his success is not the amount of money he's made only; it's the way he's motivated people. He's great fun. He's great fun at all forums. So, Shishir, I would like to thank you for being a part of this.
Always, always, always a
And
privilege.
I'm really privileged that you took the trouble to come all the way to be on my channel.
It's always a pleasure to
Vijay
be.
Mohan Point of View, kindly
Thank you.
subscribe, because if you subscribe, you give me the facility to call more individuals like Shishir. Thank you very much.